country great again.
Our country great again.
What about your big wig? What about your big lines? What about your ideas? You're just a fucking crazy Joe. I wanna say to you,
Yes.
I've never trusted you.
Recently, Powell was speaking at the National Association for Business Economics in Philadelphia, and he said, "Our long-stated plan is to stop balance sheet runoff when reserves are somewhat above the level we judge consistent with ample reserve conditions." He went on to say, "We may approach that point in coming months." So what in the world is balance sheet runoff, quantitative tightening, QT, and how does it relate to QE, or quantitative easing? Well, this is a chart of the Federal Reserve's balance sheet. You can think of this like their brokerage account. It is their account that holds assets that they have purchased. This is different than a brokerage account for like you or I, where we have to put cash into that account first in order to be able to buy assets. The Federal Reserve just prints up the money that they need in order to buy any number of assets that they want. When this chart is moving higher, it means they are printing money and buying new assets that they're adding to their balance sheet. When this chart is moving lower, it means the total quantity of assets on their balance sheet is actually shrinking. Now, because the assets that they own are debt, they're either mortgage-backed securities or US Treasuries, it means that sometimes some of these bonds are getting paid off. Like they've got some T-bills and they've got some bonds from the US government. When those mature and the US government pays that debt back to the Federal Reserve, that bond ceases to exist. Also, that cash ceases to exist. Just like the Federal Reserve prints money to buy assets for their balance sheet, if anything gets paid back that they hold on their balance sheet, that cash also just ceases to exist. Now, as you see both in 2018, 2019, and then recently ever since 2022, the runoff in the balance sheet has been very smooth and consistent. This could not happen if they were just holding assets and then just waiting for some of them to get paid off.
Now, before I execute this order, are you sure you understand the risks of stock ownership?
Absolutely.
We're in the money. We're in the money.
You heard the monkey. Make the trade.
While companies aren't hiring, they're not firing either, so it's a net neutral. Nothing to worry about here, no jobs lost. Pff, okay, propaganda if I've ever heard it, because anyone with the internet, funny enough, if you Google layoffs, guess what? In the last 2 days, UPS, 48,000 jobs, must be an anomaly. Maybe not. Paramount, 1,000. Target, 1,800. Chegg, 45% of workforce. Microsoft, 15,000 layoffs. What do you think that is? Do you think that that is no firing, no hiring, the great freeze? Or do you think that the companies are actually out there chopping their workforce right and left? And these are just bigger companies. What about mom and pops, huh? I mean, listen, I don't pay that much attention to the labor stats that we get because we all know they're going to be revised down anyway. We all know that none of the data we're going to get is correct. But this seems pretty clear to me that what we are being told about this great freeze is incorrect, which also lines up with my own personal experience of many of my loved ones who have been applying like crazy, who have been laid off, who can't find a job to save their lives. You cannot tell me that Americans are not struggling right now to get a job.
I know damn well the rich black community ain't crying over food stamp benefits and welfare money. I just know the rich designer wearing ass, trip taking, wig wearing, nail wearing, lash wearing, 3 chains on, Rick Owens stepping, Balenciaga stepping, new shoe drop stepping. 1942 and Don Julio buying, big timing, black community, and crying over no mother food stamps and welfare money.
You know what? Let me address the first person first, right? Because to say and post it on the internet like you got on camera and you recorded yourself and you said that you were robbing white people if your food stamps don't hit by November 1st. This has got to be some of the dumbest criminals that I've ever seen in my entire life. Why would you say that?
On any given day, you'll likely catch a good game of ping pong in Chinatown's Hing Hei Park. But police say not everyone is playing by the rules. Detectives arrested 11 people in a months-long investigation into a food stamps fraud operation deeply rooted in the CID.
Officers observed individuals buying EBT cards from people, more vulnerable people in that area.
Detective Brian Pritchard says the scammers would buy the cards at 50% discount in cash, turning those benefits into profit.
They were working with the businesses, and they would buy the items, then sell the items back, and so it was like a revolving kind of a thing. It had a deal with them, with these different agencies, these different stores.